G'day guys, welcome to the channel. Episode 12 in our collection showcase series. It's been a while since I've last done this. And today we're looking at SolverXDs collection. Now, wrist size for this gentleman is about 6.6 inches. Guy's jacked as well, as what he says to me, and he's a Sydney sider as well, so basically a neighbor of mine. Don't know where you're from specifically, but we're neighbors essentially in this big world. So SolverXD has sent me a picture as well as some videos of his collection, so just going through them from first to fifth. The first watch here is an Omega Seamaster, 35mm, a vintage dress watch with silver dial, worn on special occasions such as weddings, funerals, and court appearances. I've been to court once, it wasn't fun, so great watch to have for that, I guess. Secondly, we've got a 2024 Rolex Explorer, 36mm, black dial, the Garter watch. Explorer is Explorer, so good job on that. Number 3 is a Grand Seiko SBGT019, 37mm from 2003, so that's your quartz piece. Grand Seiko's Grand Seiko. He wears this when he's going to some sketchy areas like Fairfield, Cabra. So if you're not from Sydney, Western Sydney is typically the sketchy areas. I used to hang out a lot at Liverpool and Blacktown, Mount Druitt way when I was younger, so I get it. Number 4, you got your Tudor Submariner, 1993. You always wanted a blue diver, and Omega and Rolex was out of the picture. Tudor Sub was the choice for you. The Black Bay 58 blue, in your opinion, is dog shit. I mean, it's not dog shit. I would prefer the Submariner over the Black Bay 58 because the Submariner is classic, iconic, whatever you want to call it. The 58 isn't bad, it's not perfect, so everyone that I know who's owned a Black Bay 58 has sold it on. It's one of those watches where you buy it, you enjoy it, you move it on, you don't lose any money, especially if you buy it used. If you buy it new, you get pumped, royally pumped, but to the Submariner. And finally, your G-Shock Casio, the one you wear to the gym to get jacked. Yeah, G-Shock is G-Shock, right, as your beater. So you have one slot left in your box. You have nothing on your radar at the moment. You're not really into gold pieces, which in all honesty, if you're not feeling gold, don't force yourself because you'll just end up selling it. You're not a big fan of chronographs. Same, I'm not a big fan of chronographs. I do like a few chronos, but not all of them. Because the dials are busy, as also servicing is expensive, which a lot of people don't think about that. When you get a chrono, they're expensive to service, man. Like, I think my Speedy, when it comes to servicing, it's like $1,000 or two, maybe $2,000. I know a good friend of mine that I speak to on Instagram, he's got a heavy collection, and yeah, the service cost is astronomical for him, so yeah, I get ya. The final point here is SolverXD is a one watch per brand type of person. And outside of that, looking at your next piece, SolverXD wants to stay under that $20,000 Australian. However, he gravitates more towards smaller watches. So looking at the collection here as a whole, you've got a 35mm, 36, 37, 39. Staying around that smaller watch realm is actually quite difficult in all honesty, and the reason for that is you don't have many options. A lot of smaller watches out there, they don't really hit that 20k mark unless you're going for something that's from a more well-known brand like your Cartiers, or if you're going to something more bougie like your Chopards and whatnot. So look, as a collection, it's totally fine. You've got the bases covered. Essentially, the Tudor and the Explorer, like if you just had those two and you sold the rest, you'll be sweet, right? But the Grand Seiko is nice too. The Omega Seamaster is nice too. Like, I wouldn't be getting any more dress watches specifically for you. However, I do have one dress watch suggestion for you. I'm not sure if it's your flavor, but look, around that 20k range, especially for a smaller watch, yeah, you don't have that many options, unfortunately. So I took some time to actually research some options for you, and let's just kick things off, right? So firstly, let's look into Cartiers. So Cartiers, the Santos medium. I wouldn't bother going to the tank in all honesty, because you already got your quartz. Even if you go for the large tank, the manual wind, I mean, you've got the dress watches already on the leather straps with a white dial, so I don't think that'll suit your collection. I feel as if that a Santos medium, maybe the white dial if you want to keep it classic. If I was in your position, I'd actually get the green dial variants. So the green dial for me is the greatest choice to fit into your collection, because it's not black, it's not white, it's not blue, it's green, and you don't have any green in your collection. I don't know if you like green or not. You didn't tell me, but in terms of preferences, my favorite color is green, so I would go for a green Santos. Outside of the green Santos medium, you have a bigger wrist than I do. And in my previous video, I actually had a look at the Santos dual time, the one with the gray rhodium or anthracite dial, whatever. The dial is a bit busy. However, it is a good watch to look into. Because of the GMT function, you don't have a GMT in your collection. So I feel as if that the Santos dual time would actually fit into your collection. It's sub 40 mil. I know you want smaller watches. However, this is hitting the ceiling of what would be considered small for us, right? Like, it's more so medium size essentially. Even though it's based off the large Santos silhouette, Santos dual time I reckon would suit your collection really well. GMT, gray dial. You don't have a gray dial watch. Just to keep the video simple, I just get the Santos dual time, right? But medium green is also a good option for you. In terms of these Santoses, they retail for about 11,500 for the medium, 12,600 for the large. The dual time is 14,600. Now, with all Santoses, you can get a discount if you want them new from the AD. However, if you visit some gray market, used market dealers, they do have new examples that come out from time to time for well under. Like my boys at Watch Connect have a new Santos white dial, silver dial, whatever, for 9,950, which is a considerable discount over the 11,000 odd retail price. And even they have a large as well for about 9,950. So Cartier could be right up your alley. It's a great watch, and your wrist is bigger than mine, so I feel as if you'll get a better fit than me. So give that a go. Now, something a bit more bougie. The Chopard Alpine Eagle 36. When I was going to the office this week, or was it last week, whichever, I was on a packed train, and the guy sitting next to me to my left was wearing a really loose watch and wristwatch. Check, I'm wearing my Legend Diver. It's like, what the hell is that? I had a look at it. It was actually a 36 mil Alpine Eagle. It looked super nice, super nice. You don't have a integrated bracelet watch in your collection, hence why the Santos was kind of something I was looking into for you. But as a bougie individual, the Alpine Eagle 36 is, it looks so good in person. Retail is 19,000. If you find an AD, I don't know of any ADs here in Sydney. I think Kennedy might stock them, not too sure. 19,000, you can probably get a discount off it, or if you look into the used market, I'll be honest with you, you won't find any, because these watches are quite rare. Not many people buy them, and if they do buy them, they're buying the 41 or 42 mil version. So the Alpine Eagle 36, it's a great option for you. Blue dial, I know you already have a blue dial watch, but look, these watches, the 36 mil, only come in blue. So if you don't like it, you have to move on from that. Now, moving on in brands, I was looking at IWC for you. So IWC have the Mark, I don't even remember what it's called. So they have a pilot's watch. So it's like the smaller version of the Mark XX. It's 36 mil, it comes in black and blue. I was thinking about that for you, but I don't recommend it because you already have the Explorer. So with the Arabic numerals, you know, it's the typical pilot's looking watch. I feel like it's too close to home with your Explorer because you have the 369 on the Explorer. I mean, it's kind of the same but different. So as an addition to your collection, look, I'm gonna skip that one and I'm gonna move to the IWC Ingenieur. Now I know it's not small, however, 40 mil integrated bracelet design. it's just a nice watch, especially with the different colors that they offer. So you've got your whites, blacks, blues, greens. You can also get it in titanium. Look, I've tried it on. My brother had it and I've given it a go as well. Fine watch as well. It would suit your collection. It's more of a sporty look, but in terms of size, might not be right up your alley because I'm trying to keep the suggestions under 40 mil, but it's bloody hard, man. So IWC Ingenue, that'll suit you really well. Now let's go to Breitling. So Breitling, the options are a lot cheaper for you here in Breitling's world. They're not complicated watches. They're not intricate in its design. The Navitimer and the Chronomat is something I was looking for you there. So I had a look at the gray anthracite Navitimer 36. It's more of a pilot's watch as well, like similar to the IWC. However, without the Arabic numerals, it's a bit different, right? And you've got the funky bezel as well to time, I don't know, whatever it is that you're timing, but it is different. If you get it on the metal bracelet as well, it is a quirky design that'll be just a breath of fresh air for you. However, you also have options with the Chronomat. So I was actually looking into getting a Chronomat before. They have 36 mil as the standard smaller size, but the 38 mils have the jewels and the diamonds and whatever. You don't want to go for 38s because it's, unless you like the blingy bling. The 36 is totally fine. You can get two-tone as well if you're interested in some precious metal, but as an all-steel watch, I think the Chronomat is okay. It's considerably less than your budget of 20K, so I don't know if you would appreciate it as much in your collection. Now, with some people, if they have a high budget, when they end up getting a cheaper watch, most times they're not satisfied, right? They're like, oh, you know, like, I shouldn't have got the cheaper option. I might as well have gone for the one around my budget. So Breitling, they don't have any smaller watches around that 20K range. These ones are considerably less, like 10K and under. But they're great options still for your smaller preference, right? So moving on from that, the final recommendations I have for you, and again, I said I didn't want to include dress watches. This is the only one I'm gonna suggest to you, is a JLC, either a duo face or a mono face, whichever you want. The duo face goes for about 21,500. You're basically getting two watches in one. It's pretty gangster, and you can get a metal bracelet aftermarket, of course, and put it on the watch as well. Or you can go for the mono face and save yourself some money. Now, I'm a fan of the JLC. However, I've never considered seriously adding it to my collection because I don't like leather straps. That's just me. I've tried doing it with my previous Santos. I bought some straps, didn't like it, moved it on. You seem like you don't mind a leather strap here and there, so you do have options. You've got ones with silver dials, blue dials. You have the colored options as well, like your green, reds, whatever, blue. For you, if you were interested in the JLC, I'd go for a duo face because you can have the two options, you know, basically two watches in one. And if you go to an AD, you can get a slight discount on them because no one buys JLC or not many people buy JLC in retail. I shouldn't say no one buys them. Not many people buy JLCs in retail. So if you can get a discount to get this under 20,000, I reckon you got a good shot at achieving that. But overall, with your current selection of watches in your collection, look, I gotta be honest with you. The Seamaster, it's cool. I'm not really into vintage watches, so I don't know too much about them, but it looks fine. Like as a dress watch option, it's fine. Like it's cool. The Explorer is great. Explorer is Explorer. I was actually thinking of getting another Explorer. I've owned two before. I was thinking of getting the one you have, the 36 mil all steel. Yeah, Explorer's fantastic. A Grand Seiko as like a muck around watch. Yeah, it's fine, it's quartz, whatever. The Tudor Submariner is great as well from 1993. That's a good one. And the G-Shock. As I mentioned in the beginning of the video, if you just had the Explorer and the Submariner, you'd be sweet. Having the Grand Seiko and the Seamaster, yeah, they're fine too. They're not my favorite. They're not the worst thing in the world, but yeah, they're fine as well. So, and the G-Shock, I wouldn't even count the G-Shock myself. Yeah, it's fine, right? Like, the collection is fine. Like, a lot of people would be happy with just having the Submariner Explorer as a two-piece feed. Otherwise, if you were to add another watch, the suggestions I gave you, look, it was hard finding suggestions for you because, as I mentioned, smaller watches are hard to come by, especially if you're not spending heaps and heaps of money, more than 20K, because a lot of manufacturers cater the smaller watches to women, and what they do is they add precious metals and gemstones onto these watches to increase the value of them, because they know that, look, men typically don't go for smaller watches, it's going to be the women. And in all honesty, there's not really many unisex options out there. Unless you want to go for an AP 37mm jumbo, that's a great option, or the chronograph. But again, you don't like chronographs, which is totally fine. Out of the selections that I gave you, I'm leaning towards the Chopard and the Santos. Those are the two that if I was in your shoes, I would go for. However, but then again, that's just my personal preferences. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a while since I've done a collection showcase, but please feel free to reach out to me if you wanted me to have a look at your collection and suggest you some options. Otherwise, that's a video. Hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. But seriously, SolverXD, I think the dual time is right up your alley. See you, man.